Okay, so my temporary variable is I. So here I am going to give the temporary variable in front of for loop. Okay, so now I run this. So now I am going to check my B. I get word in list form. Okay, so the list comprehension is used to perform your perform your codes inside the square brackets, and it returns the output in list form. Okay, so you can use what data type you want here. Okay, so you can use anything. So here I'm going to give as a like okay, so I'm going to create, or so now I'm going to create a variable e. After that, so here I'm going to print the values by using range function. Okay, so by doing that, have to type for a or for anything you want here. So you want to type temporary variable here. Okay, so for I in range, in here you have to mention your starting and ending values. Here I am going to use 1 comma 11. Okay, so in front of for you have to give your temporary variable. So now I'm going to run this. So now here I change B into A. So now you get the value 1 to 10. Okay, so you can do logical things in here. Okay, so I'm going to print the square of each element in A. Okay, so here I'm going to give I star star 2, because a double star is mentioned the square the power of 2, right? So now you can get a squared form of each value, right, each element. So now I'm going to run this. Now I check, I get 1 square is 1, and 2 square is 4, and 3 square is 9, and 10 square is 100. Okay, so you can do logical things in here. Okay, so and also you can do the if statements. Now I am going to check what are the even numbers in this list. I am going to print what are the even numbers in this list. Okay, so here you can give your if statement, like if my temporary variables I. After that you have to give your mod function. Okay, then you have to give 2, because I am going to get the even values. Okay, so I less than 2 equal 0, that's all. Okay, so now you have to remove this, because I am going to print the I value. What are the I value is what are the even values in I. Okay, so I'm going to run this. I now check A. I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 11. Sorry, 10, because these are the even values in the range from 1 to 11. Right? You can use if statement also here. Okay. And also you can so we will see one more example for using this list comprehension. Here I am going to check the Celsius into Fahrenheit. I am going to use a Celsius and Fahrenheit formula here. So I remove the temporary variable and I give one parenthesis. Inside the parenthesis I am going to give 9 divided by 5, and this is the formula of converting Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay, so then after that I want to multiply my temporary variable Then after that I'm going to add 32. So and this is the formula for converting Fahrenheit to Celsius. Okay, now I am going to run this. I get the value for each element which I have described here. Okay, so 1 to 10 in 1, the I value is 1 and it is multiplies this value the 9 bar 5, right? So after that it add 32, we get 33.8. so it process the each elements which I have mentioned here. Okay, then I get the Fahrenheit values of each elements which is inside the a variable, right? Okay, you can do these formulas also in here. Okay, this is also concept of logical programs. Okay, so you can do logical operations in here. Okay, next we'll see how to use if and else statement in list comprehension. So okay, so I have to declare a equal to, then I should, so I have to give square brackets. Inside the square bracket I have to give a temporary variable. So I'm here I'm taking x as a temporary variable. After that you have to give if statement. Okay, so if x if x modulus of 2 equal 0, here I am going to print what are the even values and what are the odd values in my input. Okay, like in a or in a range function, right? And here you can pass your else statement. Here no need to give your intent notations in intent notation is not necessary here. Okay, so here you can pass your odd, and after that now you can pass your for loop for x in range here 1 comma 11. Okay, and give square brackets here. So now I'm going to run this. I get, so now I check a, I get 1 is odd and 2 is even and 3 is odd and 4 is even and 5 is odd and 6 is even. So you can do if and else conditions in here. Okay, going to run this. Now check a, so we can't pass if statement printing strings in here. Okay, you can do like this only. Okay, so you run this, you get this value. So and this is little confusing, right? So you just know what is list comprehension. Okay, so you don't do these concepts in your coding because it is confusing. Like it is what are the process I have done here, I don't know when I took on later. Okay, so in my codes. Okay, you just know what is list comprehension. Okay, so you should do your if and else statements and for loops in normal way, like for I in A, then print I, like that. Okay, you can't do these list comprehension because it is more confusing than a normal if statement. Okay, so you just know what is a list comprehension. Okay, so next we'll move with methods and functions. Okay, so normally we have seen some methods in earlier in list classes and tuple classes, that is indexing, how to find index, and in dictionaries we have seen 2 or 3 methods like keys, items and values. Then in list classes we have seen what is append method and what is pop method, and what is a split method, and what is an remove method. We have seen in list class these all are methods. Here we will see some important methods which we have missed in previous lessons. Okay, this is more useful for your codings. Okay, then here I am going to create one variable named my list. Then after that I am going to declare a list like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I run this here. So here I give my list and dot hit tab in Jupyter. So you can see here, right? So once again I'm going to hide my floating window. Okay, here you give shift enter, you can see some informations regarding this list. Type is list and string information is in list we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 and length is 7. Okay, so you can know the information by 3 ways. One is in Jupyter Notebook you can use shift enter to know the functions and know the variables what are we have declared, or you can check the functions also. So the append is a built-in functions, right? So you can check what is append and what are the specifications or what are the parameters we are going to pass in here. You can check by using hit shift enter, and you can see the syntax on docstring means it's a short note on append function, and type is built-in function or method. Okay, so you can call append is a function or a method, and you can see here the signature is syntax and my list dot append, and here this is a object, and here there is a slash symbol. Okay, so append object to the end of the list. So append means it is inserting an object to the end of the list. Okay, so here I am going to change insert, right? So I am going to hit shift and tab. In Jupyter the shift and tab will works. Okay, if you are going to ideally or other platforms like PyCharm and Visual Studio Code, you have to use help function for getting the information for the built-in methods and built-in functions. Okay, here you can see the signatures my list dot insert, and you can pass your 2 parameters here. One is index where you are going to insert, and object is what object you are going to insert, like this. Okay, so you can see the parameters, which parameters I am going to insert here. Okay, and doc string is insert object before index. Okay, so here I'm going to give 1 as an index position. I'm going to add before this element, okay, before 2's, and you have to give your indent notation of 2. Okay, so here the 2 is index position of 1, so I'm going to add 2 here, one more 2, or I'm going to add 10 here. I run this, I'm going to check this, I get 10 in front of 2. Okay, so this is insert object. Okay, so if you don't know about the object, okay, here we have some few methods or functions in here. So if you don't know about extern or any objects in here, you can use shift tab in Jupyter Notebook. You can know about the external object by using shift tab. Okay, so signature is mylist.extern, it's iteratable, and docstring extern list by appending elements from the iteratable. Okay, so it prints some details about that method. Okay, here we have one more method. So in shift tab, it works only in Jupyter. If you go with another IDEs like Python IDE and PyCharm, you can use help method to help method to get information about the object, right? You can give like this. Now I'm going to run help. Okay, you can see some text here. So help on built-in function insert, right? So help on built-in function function insert, and insert you can see the information about insert. Here we have to pass two parameters, one is index position and another is object. So it may be a string or a integer or a floating numbers, right? So the method of built-in dot list instance insert object before index. You can see the short notes on function which you have mentioned in help function. Okay, you can see, or it prints about that function. Okay, so we have one more option to know about the functions, or which function works, which logic, or what this like extend function means what. You can have one more option to know about these methods and new updates or new objects on Python. So you have to go your browser, and here can search like Python documentation. Okay, here you can find here. In Python documentation, and they are updating in each version which when they are releasing. Okay, so every releasing time they are updating the document. Okay, so now we have 3.8.3 documentation. Okay, so because the Python 3.8.3 is the latest version. Okay, so here you have to click your tutorial. Now you can find everything about Python 3.8.3. What are the data types here, what are the data structures here, what are the advantages here, and what are the updates they have added newly. Okay, so you can find anything about Python in here. Okay, so let's see. So there's a Python numbers, the using Python as a calculator, and you can see here 2 plus 2 equals 4, and 50 minus 5 star 6 equal 20, and after that you have they are showing some calculations in here. Okay, so have this is variable declaration and this is strings. Okay, so you can if you have any doubts on previous topics, you can go on take a look at these documentation. You can know, or you can clear our doubts in here. Okay, so I click if statement. So here the if statement purpose, the most well-known statement type is the if. For example, now you can see the couple of examples in here. So break, continue statements, which we have seen in past week, right? For while loops and for loops. Okay, we can use break and continue and pause statements in loops. Okay, so perform when you will perform loops, you can use break and continue for intermediate or interrupt your loop, right? Then here the these are the data structures: double tuples and sequence, sets, dictionaries, loop techniques, and so there is directory functions, packages, how to import your package, and so errors and exception handling we will see in our upcoming classes and classes also. So here that's all about Python documentation. Okay, here we have a dozen of files. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can go and check here, or if you want to know about methods or functions, you can go and check here. Okay, so back to Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so next I'll see what is functions in Python. So function is used to save your set of codes into some name, and you can use this set of codes in later your program, what or when, sorry, where you want that. Okay, so creating clean repeatable code is a key part of becoming effective programmer. So functions allows us to create blocks of code that can be easily executed many times without needing to constantly rewrite the entire block of code. Okay, so I'm going to write 4 or 5 or more than 10 lines, like, so I need to use these 10 lines into my coding. Okay, so later on my coding in 4 or 3 times. So in each time I have to type the 10 lines. Okay, so if you are using function, no need to type your codes repeatedly. Okay, so you can type your code in the form of function, and you can call your function to do that 10 steps. Okay, so let's see how the function is works, and before that, so function syntax. Okay, so here you have to give def. After that, here you can give your name of function, like in snake case, or it's like variable declaration. Okay, so it's like variable declaration, you can give your name. Okay, so what function name you want, and after that you have to give your open and close parenthesis, and after that you have to give your indent notation, and here you have to give a space, that is indentation. In indentation you can give your codes. Okay, so then just you can run this name of function, or which name you gave in here. You can run that name and you can get your answer here. Okay, so let's see a couple of examples for function. Okay, so in function you have to give def in small letters. After that, now you can give your function name. Here I am going to give hello, say hello, and open and close parenthesis, then have to give indent notation. After that, give enter, it automatically the cursor will appear in here. Okay, so and here I'm going to pass print hello. Okay, so now I run this. I want to get hello. Alright, so by getting hello, I have to call the function name like this. Okay, so I run this, I get hello. Okay, you should type open and close parenthesis here. Okay, so if you won't type this, it prints like the function main dot say hello. You have to give the parenthesis like this. Okay, so you have to give a open and close parenthesis because it is function. So in function we have to give this open and close parenthesis here. Okay, so here you can pass how many lines you want. Okay, so here I'm going to pass 3 lines. So now I'm going to run this. Then now I run my function. I get 3 hellos. Okay, so we have an option to pass our parameters here. Okay, so here I'm going to pass name because I want to print hello with my name. Okay, here I'm going to pass my name. I delete this. Okay, so I give just a single space here. I'm going to run this. So now I check say hello. It gives an error because the say hello missing one required position argument name. Okay, because I pass one parameter named name. Okay, here I have to pass a value like I'm going to pass Shankar here. So now I run this, I get hello Shankar. Okay, so nowhere if I do not pass anything, so it gives error. Okay, for resolving that, here I am going to give a default value. Okay, you can give like this. So name equal to inside the single quotes or double quotes, you can pass any value you want. Here I am going to pass default name. Okay, so I run this, then now I check say hello. So here I have not passed anything in here, so it prints hello default name. If I pass Shankar or any strings inside the parenthesis, it takes Shankar as an input. Okay, then print hello Shankar. So this is the default name declaration. Okay, so here no parameters in here, it takes a default name as a default value. So if we pass anything in here like I'm going to box Dinesh in here, so it takes Dinesh as a input parameter. That's all. Okay, and next we'll see the difference between print and return keyword. Okay, so first what is return. Typically we use the return keyword to send back the result of the function instead of just printing it out. Okay, so you can store your function result into a specific variable by using return. So if you are using print function, you can't save any values which you have performed inside your function. Okay, so return allows us to assign the output of the function to a new variable. Okay, let's see the example. First I'm going to print some value. Okay, before that I'm going to create a function def addition. Okay, I'm going to add two numbers, right? So here I'm going to pass a comma b, then here I'm going to give indent notation. Inside the function I'm going to print. First I print this, after that check what how the return works. Okay, so here I'm going to print a plus b here. So I run this. Now I check addition. Here I have to pass the parameters. Here I'm going to pass 23 comma 12. I run this, I get 35. Okay, so it's printing 35. Okay, so now I'm going to store that 35 into some variable. I try to store the answer which I have get in addition function. I am going to store in a specific variable. Here I am going to declare b equal to addition 23 comma 12. Okay, I run this, I get 35. So normally here I am going to if any value you have to declare like c equal to, it won't print anything. Okay, because the 12 is stored in the c, right? So then after that if you check c, it prints 12 only. Okay, so here you can see the difference between c equal to and c equal to addition 23 comma 12. Okay, so it's just printing the value. Okay, so here I'm going to change this 23 instead of 13 instead of 12. So I check 36. Okay, it prints because it stores any values. It okay, b has no value. So if I'm going to check b, it has no value. So I'm going to check what is the type of b. I run this, it is none type, because the none type means there is no value inside the b. Okay, so the Python prints empty value as a none type value. Okay, the in b we have nothing, we don't have any values in here. Okay, so if I want to store a result into a specific variable, I have to use a return function in here. Okay, so here I am going to use return. Okay, so now I run this and I run this. Now you can see this line return not anything. Okay, so it's not return any value, right? So now I'm going to check the type of b. So the b is int. Okay, here I'm going to check b. B has 36 because return is helps to store your value, store your function's value. Okay, so you have to use your return function if you want to get a value from that function. Okay, this is the difference between print and return function. Okay, next we are going to see the even numbers. Okay, so how to get an even numbers by using functions. Okay, so here I am going to give def and the function name is even underscore check. Okay, so after that I have to pass one parameter here, number, then give indent notation here inside the function. Now you can pass your if statement, like if number mod operator, that is percentage symbol, and you have to give 2 here and 0 in colon. Here I return the value, okay, or first we print that value. After that we return how to return the bulk value. So we will see in next example, okay, how to return bulk values from and from a function, okay. So here I am going to print a number, okay. So I run this, and here I need to pass a parameter, check, even check, then here I am going to pass 12, okay. I run this, I get 12, okay. So now you can run the list of elements in here. We have an option to pass our list of elements in here. So before that, here if you want to check your list elements, here you have to pass, or you have to declare or if you have to use your for function in here, okay, for I in number, right. After that, now you can you have to give indent notation here, then so I run this. Now you can pass your list elements in here, okay. So list contains open and square brackets. Inside the list I have to pass 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, okay. So I run this, it gives an error because if number /2 equal 0. So type of list and int. Okay, the reason is here I am passing number, here I have to pass I, okay, because the number is list, right. It shows unsupported operator time for modulus, so list and int, okay. It shows like this because the number is a list format, okay. So in for loop, and the for loop, it separates each elements for each loop, right. So first we have I 1 in I, and second we have 2 in I, okay. Here we have to pass I, okay. Then here also you have to pass your temporary variable here. So now I run this, I check even underscore check equal to this value. Now you get the answer. So it prints only even numbers, okay. So 2 is even, and 34 is even, and 6 is even, and 8 is even, right. And you can have one more option, that is you can print in a list form, okay. You can print like in a list form, okay. So before doing that, you have to declare on empty string here. Instead of print, I am going to append the value, okay. So here b dot append, here I am going to pass I. So now you can understand what happens here. So b has empty value, right. So in each loop, so in each loop it checks if percentage 2 equal 0. If it is true, the condition is true, it goes inside the statement, and the b gets I value here. So it appends the I value into B. Okay, so in each loop it appends the I value into B. So after that I'm going to print outside the loop. That's why I'm getting the entire list, right? So I run this, I check the value. Now I get 2, 34 and 6 and 8. Those are even numbers, right? Okay, so those are even numbers. You can do you can use this logic to add your for loop temporary file values into B, or what variable you want. You can add by using append method and return your value in list form. Okay, so today class is over, and in this class we have seen what is list comprehension, and after that so introduction to functions, and after how to pass parameters in functions, then after so what is a return function, then after how to convert how to give your input is in tuple or list form. Okay, the same method it will work in while passing our tuple value. Okay, so you can pass tuple value also here. Okay, then you can convert your value like this, or here I'm going to return B. So before you are going to return a B, you have to convert list into tuple, because a return returns only a tuple value. Okay, it is very simple. I'm going to reassign this. So B equal to tuple of B. That's all. And after that, now you can return your B. Okay, so here I'll show one more example. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. So now I'm going to pass just a string of elements. Okay, string of elements like 1, 2, 3, and these are string of elements which is inside the list. Okay, 3. I'm going to pass this here. You can see in each a string element is append it will append to the B. After that the B is a list. Okay, so we can't do any insertion, deletion and updation in tuples. Okay, so that's why we are using list. Okay, so here I am going to append the I values into P. Okay, so here I am going to change the data type list into tuple. So I am going to reassign the value. Then here I am going to return B. Okay, now check this. It gives error because the local variable referenced before an assignment. Where I have it? Okay, so I am going to declare here okay, so because that's why it takes b is declared inside the function. Okay, I'm going to run this. I will check this. So it prints 1 2 3 in tuple form, right? You can see here. So 1 2 3 in tuple form. Here I have passed a value in list form. Okay, so now you can do tuple unpacking, okay, using this. Like now I have to store this values into a item variable. So I run this. Now I check what are the elements inside the item. So item has 1 2 3. Okay, so now you have now you can separate each element into each variable. So by doing that, you have to declare your 3 variables like a, b, c. So these are the variables which I am going to store these 3 elements. Okay, here just you can pass item. Okay, so now I run this. So I'm going to check a has 1, and here I'm going to check b has 2, and here I'm going to check c has 3. Okay, so this is called tuple unpacking, and by using this method you can get your answers from functions. Okay, so in list form you can merge your outputs if you are using 2 or more logics in function. For example, if you are using addition, subtraction, multiplication and division in your function, you can merge them results, merge the all results into make tuple. So to make tuple, and you can easily return it. Then after that, here you can unpack them by, okay, so here you can unpack them. Then you can print your addition result and your subtraction result and your division result like this. Okay, and thank you all, and tomorrow we will see deeply about tuple unpacking. Okay, so we will see some couple of examples for using this concept, tuple unpacking concept. Okay, so we will see you tomorrow. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And do you have any doubts, please ask me, and please try to do that program which I have told in past class, that is guess the numbers program. Okay, try to solve that, and if you have any difficulties, if you are facing any difficulties, please text me, I'll help you. Okay, thank you all.